everybody, it's Chris Byberg, the director of the National House of Prayer, coming to you today from Vancouver. So we spent this past few days out in British Columbia. We just arrived from Victoria over the weekend. We were at Keystone, David's House of Prayer, and Temple Yeshua. Had an amazing time. Our time at David's House of Prayer was just intense. The presence of the Lord is so good there. If you're in Vancouver and you want a great place to pray, go there. It was fantastic. Go see Bill and Edie, our friends. I want to talk to you today about interference and foreign interference. It's really a big thing that's in our nation right now. It's actually, we've been tracking with this for since 2018. These are the things that we've been hearing about, and things have been waylaid, and actually something the Conservatives pressed the government on that, even took the Speaker of the House to court on this thing. And so all of a sudden it's starting to resurface again via the Winnipeg labs. And I want to read something to you from Isaiah 56. And this is really significant. I've been kind of meditating in Isaiah 56 for the past few months, predominantly concentrating on, my house will be a house of prayer for all nations, at the top part of that chapter. But I'm going to talk to us from the bottom part of that chapter, which is very, very significant because it talks to watchmen and shepherds. And for the most part, that's who we are. It is talking about government here and leaders, and it is talking about that. So we're going to address both things, but it's actually who is going to do what. And I think our role is really significant here. Here we go. I'm going to read Isaiah 56. The watchmen are blind. They are all without knowledge. They are all silent dogs. They cannot bark. Dreaming, lying around, loving to slumber. The dogs have a mighty appetite. They never have enough. But they are shepherds who have no understanding. They have all turned to their own way, each to his own gain, one and all. Come, they say, let us have wine. Let us fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow will be like this day, great beyond measure. Now, I hope that's not us, right? Because as watchmen, we don't want to be dogs without a bark. We don't want to be just sleeping and lying around. We're actually called to be watchmen on the wall. And actually in this season, we're watchmen not only with trowels to repair walls, but spears so that we can fight when it comes time to fight. I want to look at this foreign interference from many places. We are seeing it from China, from Beijing. We're seeing it from Iran. We're seeing it from India. We're seeing it from many places. But I'm going to focus today on predominantly Beijing. And Beijing's interference, we've started to see this interference by Beijing interfering in our elections by targeting sitting members of parliament. That's the one way. They also target the diaspora from those areas. So they harass the Chinese people, or in the case of India, the India people, or in the case of Iran, the Iran people. We're starting to see this, and this is really problematic for us as a nation. And we also see the illegal police stations that are in Toronto and Montreal and out here in Richmond. We see these things cropping up, and very little has been done. Some has been done, but they're still there. This constant nagging interference. Recently we have learned that Beijing has been given unfettered access to the Winnipeg labs. They knew this in 2018. And so the Conservatives brought this to the attention and say, what are we going to do about that? And just recently a report was released, and I'm not going to go into the report, but because I'll unpack that at a different date because of time. But what is our role? For the most part, our role is national security. For those of us that stand on the wall, it's national security. So what are we praying for? What is the big deal? We are praying whether the government is deceived, whether the government has been complicit in this, or whether they've just been foolish. We are still going to pray. Doesn't matter what it is. We can use whatever excuse. They didn't know, they knew, they were a part of it, or they're just foolish. I have a feeling that they just might be foolish. Our role is to pray. So what do we pray for? We pray for hearts. We've seen this change of heart. We saw this change just recently in terms of what we were praying for the expansion of MAID. We started to align this and bring this up just back in November. We started to see a shift and we saw hearts change. And then again, we saw that. So this legislation is no longer expanding. There's a reprise. It's been pushed back till 2027, 3 years, which is wonderful. But we saw a heart change. So this is what we pray for now, a heart change. We pray for a change of heart. We pray for that they have eyes to see, that they have wisdom, that they have ears to hear what God is speaking. And God could be speaking through members of parliament. He could be speaking through their hearts. He could be speaking through their constituents like you, that you could be sharing some of the things that are on your heart. And so that is how we pray. Whether they are deceived, whether they're complicit, whether they're foolish, we're going to pray anyway, and we're going to pray for heart change. We're going to pray for eyes to see and ears to hear what God is speaking, because national security is important to Canada. And it's important especially for those that are being intimidated and bullied by their homelands. So I'm Chris Byberg, the director of the National House of Prayer, and we will see you